Hi, everyone, and welcome. I am Jamie Bates. Today, we are going to do a healing, some clearing, maybe clearing some of the symptoms that you might be feeling right now with the ascension that's going on, the great energy spikes that we are experiencing. And Penny is joining us here, and she is destroying a Post-it note right now. So hopefully she doesn't make too much noise during our call today. Today is really, you guys, today is actually April 5th, 2020. And we are really experiencing some massive energy upgrades. I actually, right before this call, I had looked at the Schumann resonance last night, and it had actually spiked to like 76 or 77 last night. There was quite a long period, and I know that last night was the big global meditation that people were doing all around the world. I think they were trying to get 1 million people connected with that, so I know that that was a pretty intense energy transmission as well. So there's just a lot of energy going on right now, a lot of energy spikes that we're all feeling, a lot of energy integrations that we're all having right now. And so today, let's just focus on giving our body some ease, creating some ease throughout our being. And I don't know, can you guys hear like Penny crunching on the Post-it note? Or is that getting blacked out?
No, it's okay, I think.
Okay,
No.
because she's over here. It's like making noise in my ear. I didn't know if you could hear it in the microphone. So, okay, hopefully she's not going to make too big of a mess. She's getting Post-it note all over me. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll just get started today. So let's take some time here to take some nice deep breaths and really just allow ourselves to really kind of just settle into the energy of allowance here. You know, allowance is one of these things that I feel like we really need to be expanding right now for each one of us, right? So many of us, there's so many people right now that are just in the state of the world that it's in right now, right? We're perceiving all of this chaos. We're perceiving lots of overwhelm. We're perceiving lots of just general overall upset. Plus, you know, we're functioning in a place that we're not used to functioning, right? Most of us, if you are working and you're working from home, you're not used to working from home. So it means learning new things to work at home. If you're at home and you're laid off, there's all of the energies of maybe worry. There's energies of, you know, I know that even for me, like I work from home and still it's like time seems to be really speeding up right now. But at the same time, it almost feels like it's slowing down. I don't really, and I know I had posted in my Facebook group and you guys had kind of commented on that about how you were feeling about it as well. And, you know, it's like, it's interesting because it was like, by the end of the day, I'm feeling like, gosh, what I did this morning feels like it was like 4 days ago. But at the same time, it feels like it was just recently. Are you guys experiencing kind of the feeling that same way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's interesting how, like, time is doing some kind of a wonky, warpy thing right now. So, I mean, there's just so many things that are going on that we are aware of consciously, but then there's a lot of things going on that our body is aware of, and unconsciously we might be aware of it on the unconscious level, but not on the conscious level, because it's so many things. So I feel like my body is perceiving a lot more information than I'm cognitively able to put into words. And that is causing, even though like we may think, oh gosh, you know, I'm really tired, I shouldn't feel so tired because I haven't really done anything. But again, your body is like sorting and receiving, and it's going through all of this information, plus all over the world, right? We're all connected to social media, which I think probably everyone's spending a little more time on social media right now than they normally would. right? Trying to, connect to other people, just really looking at what's going on for other people. I think just all of it as a whole is just really creating all kinds of just weird and wonky energy for our bodies. So let's just acknowledge that for a moment. Let's just let our bodies know that, you know what? It's okay that you are perceiving all of this stuff that you don't know what to do with, and you aren't aware of even how to shift and change, because we are so good at receiving information and then trying to figure out what to do with it, right? Because um, that's what we do as energetically sensitive people. We see where other people are functioning at, and then we instantaneously like to automatically get into their universe and try to see, hey, what's going on in here? What's this feel like? And what that creates for us is all kinds of heaviness and wonkiness. So as we kind of acknowledge and get into this energetic space right now, let's just take some time to really kind of release and untangle and unwind from where we've been in other people's universes, trying to figure out what's going on for them, or maybe even how we can help them. I'm often telling people that the best space of help that we can be for other people is be that space of allowance for what they have going on. It's really not about getting into other people's universes and trying to figure out how to help them. It's acknowledging what they're going through, right? And having that space of allowance of saying, I can feel what you're going through. I can feel what's going on for you, and it's okay. Like, I can feel into what's going on for someone else's universe. I can acknowledge what's happening for them, and I can be space where I can just give them space of allowance for what they're going through, instead of trying to help them fix it or heal it or change it in a way that I feel like it should be. That's a big key right now, right? Because the thing is we don't know what other people's paths is. And unless someone has specifically asked you, hey, come help me, come, help me untangle this, or unless you're specifically working with someone, right, to just blindly find, friends on social media or people that you're around, and really get into their universe and try to help them fix the things that they're struggling with, when in all actuality you don't even really know if they even want help with what they're struggling with. It's really an interesting concept, and in allowance is really the only space I find that really allows everything to change. Because if I have allowance for someone who's going through something, and I don't have to try to fix it. What I'm doing is saying, what you are experiencing, I see, and I acknowledge what it is, and I'm giving you space for it. And then at that point, they get to decide if they want to change it or not. Versus what I think many of us, and we do this so intrinsically, energetically, because whether you're if you're listening to this call, you are an energetic facilitator on some level, right? And you've been doing it intrinsically your whole life. And this is where most of us get brought down and get like stuck in like the heavy mud of it, because we are such deep carers for others. And so often energetically we get into 10, 15, 20, 30 people's universes, and we're like, okay, well, we know this person is struggling with this, and we feel really bad for them because they're struggling with this, and so we want to like get in there and try to help them fix that struggle. And oftentimes we are not acknowledging that maybe that struggle is there because it's fulfilling something for them, or maybe that struggle is there because of something else that's going on in their life, and they can't actually change that struggle until this other thing gets changed. And I mean, there's so many parts and pieces to why people are in different concepts of struggle, but the thing is none of it's our choice. None of it's our choice. I can't just randomly choose someone and decide to help them, heal them, fix them energetically, that has to be a choice that they make. And as energetic beings, we have to understand that if we're feeling heavy in our lives, it's more than likely because we are tangled, whether we know it or not, because we are so good at doing that. And it's really interesting because especially over the last week or so, I've really been noticing how often I'm actually working with someone right now, helping them do something, and it's like I can see how often this person is just doing things for other people without actually even checking in to see if they actually want that to have done, and then she's reflecting back this like, well, I went above and beyond and did all these things, and like she's angry because she went above and beyond and did all these things, and these people aren't reciprocating with gratefulness, but she never even asked if they wanted that done. And I've been kind of reiterating that to her, like, well, you didn't even ask them if they wanted you to do that. And so although you felt like it was something that needed to be done, right, it wasn't something that they gave you cognitive permission to do. And I get that because I used to function in that space too. And it's been so long since I functioned in that space that I almost like forgot that that can be something that we function in, if that makes sense. And so that's really been on kind of the forefront of like where I feel us get tangled into other people's universes. Um, because we do want to help others, right? And I was recently having a conversation with somebody about receiving, and we were talking about she was talking about how hard it is for her to receive from other people. And I said, well, there partly I feel like most of us feel like it's hard to receive from other people because so many people have came into our lives and quote unquote done things for us that maybe we didn't want done, right? And so we kind of reacted in anger, but then they got their feelings hurt, or we reacted in a certain way, and then we had to check in to see how they felt about it, even though again nobody checked in with us to see if we wanted that done that way. And it's sometimes, what if it's not really that you're not a good receiver? What if sometimes it's more that no one has acknowledged that infinite space of who you be, and that infinite space of the creator that you can be, and the creator that you can create in your own life, and other people have come in and just done things for you without checking in to see if it's how you actually wanted it done. See, it goes both ways. Like it truly goes both ways for all of us. And although we don't want people just randomly coming into our lives and doing things that we didn't ask them to do, right? It's equally the same for us checking in energetically and doing things for other people that maybe they don't want done either. So as we're putting our barriers down today, let's just release and let go of any of those people that we have in our field right now that maybe we're trying to help, that really are in resistance of help, or really don't even require our help. And let's just untangle and unwind them all the way and let them go and let them go. I feel like a lot of that is causing issues within our bodies because we are holding on to things or constructs and structures in and around that. So we're going to really focus today on letting go, and that includes we're going to let go of some of these pain structures that we may be in, and really focus on creating ease in our body with our being. And so let's go ahead and put our barriers down, our barriers down, our barriers down, our barriers down, our barriers down. Let's go ahead and expand out. Make yourself as big as the state that you're in, all the way out, and all the way down, and all the way up. As big as the country that you're in, all the way out, and all the way down, and all the way up. As big as the planet that we're on, all the way out, and all the way down, and all the way up. Universe and multiverse, multiple universes. times that by million, times that by million, times that by million, times that by million, all the way out to the space of who you be as the infinite being that you be. No. Penny is over here eating my hair. I'm sorry. I'm trying to, she's just chomping away. Okay, so we're just going to pull that all the way through. Okay, so let's just really make sure that we're untangled from anywhere where we may be trying to step in and do things for others that they didn't ask us to do. And let's just pull that all the way through and all the way out and all the way through and all the way out and all the way through and all the way out. And you guys, again, like these aren't always like cognitive, conscious thoughts. Oftentimes it's, I talk about this a lot in my radio show and stuff. Oftentimes it's like, okay, we feel sad for someone. And so we want to take away their sadness. And I get that, but I also know that, people have to be able to feel where they're functioning at, where they're at in their life, in order to actually be able to change the paradigm of it, right? Because they have ultimate control. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't feel sad for other people, but it also means that, again, like I can acknowledge that they're in a lot of sadness. I can acknowledge what they're going through, and I can hold a space of allowance that they'll be able to choose a space of joy and ease, or a space of something that can help them release that, versus saying, oh, I feel so bad for them that they feel sad, and then kind of sticking them with an energy of sadness. I hope that makes sense. um, it's like the opposite of what we have been told to do. And I feel like oftentimes much of what we've been told in this reality has been told to us in a way that keeps us stuck, right? And I had posted in my group the other day, I was talking about, I had watched this, um, I can't even remember what the show was called, but it was about um, these people who had been adopted or something at birth. And anyways, basically it was like a 70-year-old man on there, and he was telling his story, and he was talking about when he was little, and he was crying, and he was in all of this like upset, and about his childhood and how no one acknowledged him. And his daughter was sitting with him, and she was like 40, she was in her 40s, and she said to the cameraman, he's always been sad my whole life, he's never been able to let this go. And I was looking at that, and I was thinking, gosh, and she was so brokenhearted for her dad, right? So in her brokenheartedness for her dad, which I get, when you have a relative that's in a lot of sadness, it's really easy to um, assimilate and take on that energy of brokenheartedness. But she was sitting with his brokenheartedness, and she was just really kind of broken. And I could see that she probably spent most of her childhood um, kind of probably in the same place he was in, because he was so consumed with his sadness that he probably really wasn't able to show up in her life as well, right? And obviously she knows that he's really sad, and she knows that he's never been able to let that go, so it's probably been something that has been talked about for most of her childhood, right? And it really essentially created the same pattern in herself, and always feeling bad for herself, but also not being acknowledged, just like he wasn't acknowledged growing up. And it actually created the same exact paradigm. And it's interesting, because that's how we end up creating a lot of times in life. We identify and align within a paradigm, right? So she felt really bad for her dad, but all that really did was help him energetically align with that even greater, right? And we're always in like either alignment or resistance of different paradigms or different programming, right? And so as I was really looking at that, I was thinking like gosh, not only did she spend now a majority of probably her whole life feeling the same way he's felt, so now they've both created that paradigm, right? But all they're doing is throwing back the feeling bad for each other. There really wasn't an allowance for, okay, my dad is really sad, right? I can hold allowance for that, and I can acknowledge, who he's being, and what he's experienced, because it doesn't take away from his experience being a very sad experience. It just allows that space of allowance. Let's just kind of make that greater for each and every one of us. It just allows them to have space to be able to say, okay, I can continue to choose this sadness, and nobody's going to try to make me choose something different. No one's going to try to make me happy, or no one's going to try to make me let this go. No one's going to try to make me feel a different way about it, or see it from a different perspective, or everyone can just have allowance for that space. And when people truly have allowance for that space and say, I can feel you, I know where you're functioning at in your life, I know where you're functioning at in your body and in your being, and it's okay. And I give you that space of allowance to be able to choose that paradigm if you still would like to. If you would still like to hold on to that and still like to be in that space, it's okay. But if you would like to choose something different, that's okay too. I don't have a point of view either way. I don't have to make you try to choose something different. I don't have to make you wrong for the way that you feel. I don't have to make you be or do something different. I can just be okay with exactly where you're functioning at, no matter what that is. Right now, the world as a whole needs that space of allowance. The world needs to feel that whatever they have experienced in their life is okay, and it doesn't have to change into something different unless someone wants to choose it to be a different way. That we can identify within each other with that space of allowance, instead of the space of I have to heal you, or I have to change you, or I have to make you better, or I have to create something greater for you, because we can all be okay with exactly where we are right now. We can allow our bodies to be okay for exactly in the space that they are right now. We can allow our beings to be okay for exactly in the space that we are right now. I seen something someone had shared about, oh gosh, it was something about being the last time that we incarnated here on this earth. And it really kind of uh, brought an awareness for me. Like, for me, I feel like this is our last time, as far as within this third dimensional paradigm. Like, you're never going to, even if you do come back here to earth, you're never going to come back in the same constructs that they are right now. As we are evolving and the earth is changing, we will never come back to these struggle concepts that we have been in. And the more space of allowance we can be for ourselves and for others, the faster that we're going to be able to allow our beings to just assimilate these new energies that are coming through, these new paradigms that are coming down. So let's just allow our bodies to assimilate these new energies that are available right now. So if we're having any pain in our body, here we go, we can pull that through and pull that down and pull that through and pull that down. And anywhere that you are attached to someone else that's creating pain in your body, let's just vortex that all the way through and all the way out and all the way through and all the way out and all the way through and all the way out and all the way through and all the way out. And where you're tied into having to help someone create something, then, and they're fighting you with this resistance and not wanting to, and you're pulling back and all of that. Anywhere you're fighting against anything. There we go. All of that, 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 all of that. Everything all of that is, can we just choose to remove all of that from all of our universes? And can we just choose that now? Vaporize, 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 vaporize. I'm just going to pull that all the way through. It's an interesting adventure here with both of these birds. Just going to keep vortexing that through. Birds are kind of like toddlers. They just don't stop. They just get into everything. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And let's just go ahead, and I want you to put out in front of you anywhere where, let's say, I know that I can remember some times in my life where someone did something for me, and it really wasn't something I wanted done, and it really like created some upset in me, but then I felt like I disappointed them. I want you to put all of those places out in front of you, anywhere where someone did something for you and you didn't really want that done, and it wasn't really done how you wanted it to be done, and then you felt bad because you didn't want them to feel bad, but it really kind of maybe even created some disappointment in your life. I want you to put all of those out in front of you so we can clear those spaces today. So take all of those reflections, putting those all out in front of you, and let's just pull that pure positive life force energy from behind each one of them through the space in between. Receive that into your body and being and out the other side. Pulling and receiving and pulling and receiving and pulling and receiving and pulling and receiving. And just really allowing yourself to receive that space. And then let's go to the space where uh, let's just send back gratitude. Gratitude for you. And let's also send back gratitude for that other person, for not knowing any better to check in or to ask, or, yeah, that right there. Let's just send them back gratitude. Pull it all the way through. Back to you. Just really allowing that energy to shift and change, shift and change, shift and change, shift and change. Pull that all the way through and all the way through and all the way through and all the way through. There we go. And all the way out and all the way out and all the way out and all the way out. And as we kind of vortex this through, we're just going to allow any of these places in our bodies to just really be exhumed and released. It's definitely interesting. There's an interesting energy in there for sure. And let's just give our bodies that space of allowance for whatever you are experiencing. And during this time, give our bodies more allowance to be able to assimilate to these new energies, to be able to take them in without internalizing them and creating upset in the body. Acknowledging that our bodies are dealing with a lot of information right now, you guys, a lot of information. And this information is, again, it's creating these different like pain feelings in our body as we're trying to just assimilate the new upgraded energies that are coming in, but also the changes are so significant to how we're used to operating in the day. So our bodies are really having lots of different things going on right now. So let's just give our bodies more allowance here. Let's allow ourselves to tap into more awareness. And more allowance, and more awareness, and more allowance, and more awareness. Sorry about that. Barry is going through all of my my organizers up there and checking things off the top. If you're hearing the loud bangs, that would be what's going on right now. He is reorganizing my desk as we speak. We're just going to pull that through, 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 pull that through. I've been talking a lot about really, even really watching in my group, who you are connected to. I know that, most of us are staying within our houses, right? But when you're on social media, it's really important right now to limit the amount of exposure that you're giving yourself to people who are sharing things that feel really kind of yucky, or even really make you feel bad about yourself. I know sometimes people have good intentions. I seen a post. I can't remember what it said now, but it was a post that I can see had a good intention behind it, but it had a projection of energy like, if you're doing this, you're bad and wrong. Even though it was kind of like, I can't remember exactly what it said. It said something like, oh gosh, like, I can't remember the exact wordage on it, but do you guys know what I'm talking about? It was a post with good intentions, but it had it's like a stabby energy behind it. Like, if you're not doing this, you're bad and wrong. And many of us have um, already have such an ingrained feeling of bad and wrong that even those posts that have kind of that positive upswing or whatever that make us feel bad about ourselves, know that that's because it's written in an energy that makes us aware of it being in that construct. So it's not actually you. But if you're around, if you have people on your social media that makes you feel that way, please unfollow, unfriend. Don't keep allowing those types of energies in your space, because those energies are going to bring you down right now. And we all need to really
Yes,
stay. You know what I'm talking
there's a
about,
lot of
Cindy?
negativity out there.
Yes, there is. And so, if you're on social media a lot and you're spending a lot of time on social media and you're continuously bombarded with that negativity, it's going to bring you down. Okay. And right now we need to really, really, really be vigilant about staying positive and staying as high vibrationally as we possibly can. So making sure that if you are friends with people who are sharing that kind of stuff, unfollow, unfriend, maybe even, I'm friends with a lot of strangers that I don't even, just randomly have Facebook friends. It's like, if they post something, I'm like, oh, we're just like, I'm unfriending them. I don't even know who you are anyways. I don't really want to be associated with people who are, posting stuff that has an insinuation of wrongness on it. Like, we do not need people to make other people feel wrong. We all do a good enough job making ourselves feel wrong, and we're trying to shift that right now. And we don't need people to kind of continue to inundate us with that vibration and that frequency. So putting those boundaries in for yourself of like, if something doesn't make me feel good and the people around me are continuously sharing things that don't make me feel good, you have the permission to unfollow them and not look at their stuff any longer. And so you can really not be integrated back into that space over and over and over. And understanding as we go through this period here, staying in your awareness and consciously choosing to allow your body to have the ease, consciously choose to allow your body to have allowance for this time right now. These are times that none of us have ever experienced, and it's okay for whatever you are experiencing. The biggest thing is giving yourself the space to consciously choose to move forward with ease, to consciously choose, hey, if I'm having an experience that doesn't feel good today, that's okay. I still have a choice to be able to move forward. I still have a choice to be able to move on with my life. So we're just going to kind of vortex this through, and as this energy kind of continues to kind of move through, does anybody have anything that they would like to say, ask, add, contribute to the call today?
I think this has been super helpful
Great,
with
thank
the
you.
with clearing that out. I think sometimes it just gets a little overwhelming in our bodies, and
Definitely.
I appreciate the reminder too. I think sometimes we forget how entangled we can get, even though we aren't physically in everybody's space. But
Mm-hmm.
they're still connecting, and you should disconnect um, at least every day. And kind of cut all that from you
Yeah,
and release all
definitely.
that. Yeah.
Yes, and I know that you're very big at doing the cord cutting every day. Um, I don't personally do that anymore, but I know that that can be also super helpful. So thank you for that, Jenny. And if you
Yeah.
basically, I mean, you don't really have to do anything in particular to cut cords. You can just envision the cords being cut from your body. If you're feeling really energetically connected to someone, you can cut those cords through your body. You can even just do it yourself physically, like with the intention that you're cutting the cords. You don't really have to call anybody else in to help you do that. I mean, you can if you desire, but you are the master and the creator of your body and your universe, so you're capable of saying, hey, if I'm feeling that I'm really being drained right now, I can take this time to just allow yourself to cut those cords, remove them, remove their energy from your body, expand out, remove all of that energy and all of the cords from your universe. Yeah, just give yourself space to be in your universe by yourself, and the allowance to be that energetic being that you be. Do not require anybody else to help you. Just as, again, unless you have that permission to be accessing other people, and necessarily don't really have to do that just because. So giving ourselves the space for that. So we're going to wind this all through, and thank you all for joining me today. Stay in your awareness. Just really allow yourself to really be within your body, and giving your body that allowance to be able to take this energy that you're receiving just every single day, all the time, to just really be that space of allowance for allowing that to pull through, and just letting your body assimilate all these new energies. And I feel like within the next week or so, things are going to continue to be intense. Okay, we're going to go through quite an intense time here for a little while. So the more you can rest, just allow your body to really be an allowance, the greater you can shift through this, and also the more ease you're going to have in your body throughout it. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. And
Thank you.
yes, thank you. I will talk to you guys soon. Have a great day.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.